Canto 23. Summary. As Virgil urges the pilgrim to move on, they hear words from the Latin hymn, Miserere mei, Lord, open thou my lips. The hymn goes on to say, and my mouth will declare your praise. Those purging the habit of gluttony celebrate, as a form of discipline, what the mouth was actually for, giving praise to God. After hearing these words sung, Dante sees the inhabitants of this terrace. He is taken aback at how thin and gaunt they look. The eyes are so sunken, and the forehead and cheekbones so prominent, he is able to see the letter M written in their faces, with their noses being the middle stroke. Together with the O of each eye socket, the word homo is perceived, which is the Latin word for man. Technically it is written homo, but the H is not pronounced. As the pilgrim stares at them, wondering, a soul cries out in recognition of Dante. It is Forese Donati, an old friend with whom Dante the poet had exchanged several poems. Their subsequent discussion focuses on what the souls do on this terrace. Several trees are placed around the circling track, which emit a strong and delightful fragrance, which drives the souls to hunger and thirst, which they must turn into a hunger for righteousness. However, Forese explains, this sorrow is really a solace, for the deprivation unites them to Christ, as they, too, for the joy set before them, embrace their suffering. Dante wonders that he is here so soon, having only been dead 4 years. He died in 1296. Forese explains that his wife had led him to genuine repentance near the end, and prayed for him after his death. By these graces, his journey up the mountain has been accelerated. This leads into another invective against Florence, whose wanton immodesty is as common as the virtue of Forese's wife is rare. He then asks about Dante and his story. The canto closes with the pilgrim briefly recounting what his journey has been and what it is for. Canto 23. The Gluttons. While I was fixing my eyes on the green foliage, like one usually does who squanders his life watching little birds, my more-than-father was saying to me, "Son, now come, for the time that is left to us should be measured out more profitably." I turned my face and my step as swiftly near the wise ones whose talk was of such sort that made the journey of no cost to me. And then, through the weeping and singing was heard, "Labia mei Domine," in tones such that it brought forth both delight and grief. "O sweet father, what is this that I hear?" I began, and he said, "Shades who proceed, perhaps, loosening the knot of their debt." Just as contemplative wayfarers do, passing people they know not on the way, turning round to them and yet not stopping, so too from behind us a crowd of souls silent and devout, moving more quickly, coming and passing by, wondered at us. Each one was dark and hollowed in the eyes, pallid in the face, and so very thin that the skin formed itself around the bone. I do not believe that Aristicton was as shriveled to his outermost rind from starvation when he feared it the most. I was saying to myself, thinking, behold, the people that had lost Jerusalem when Mary dug her beak into her son. Their eye sockets seemed like rings without gems, and he who reads homo in the human face here would have clearly recognized the M. Who, without knowing how, would have believed the fragrance of fruit, and that of water producing yearning, could so govern them. I still wondered what made them hunger so, for the cause of their leanness and sad scurf had not yet been made manifest to me. And behold, from the hollows of his head a shade turned toward me with fixed, staring eyes, then cried aloud, "What grace is this to me?" Never would I have recognized his face, but in his voice it was made clear to me, that which had been stricken from his features. This spark wholly rekindled my knowledge of the countenance so altered, and thus I recognized the face of Forese. "Ah, pay no attention to the dry mange that bleaches my skin," he was begging me, "nor to my insufficiency of flesh, but let me know the truth about yourself. Tell me who those two souls are that guide you. Let there be no delay in telling me." "Your face, for which I wept when it was dead, now gives me tears of no lesser sorrow," I answered him, seeing it so contorted. Therefore say, for God's sake, what so chafes you? Do not make me speak while I marvel, for one can speak ill filled with another will. And he said, From the eternal council falls power onto the water and tree behind us there, whereof I grow so thin. All of these people that sing while weeping, for following their throats beyond measure, make themselves holy through hunger and thirst. The fragrance of fruit emits, and the flash that spreads itself over all its verdure kindles in us desire to eat and drink. And not one time only, as we circle round this floor, is our sorrow felt afresh. I said sorrow, but I should say solace, for that same desire leads us to the tree that led Christ, for the joy to say Eli when he freed us with the blood of his veins. And I to him, Pharese, from that day on which you changed worlds for the better life, 5 years have not turned until this moment. If the power to sin more had ended before the hour came of the honest grief, the grief that marries us again to God, how is it you are up here already? I was thinking to find you down below, where time is restored with an equal time. Whence he to me, So swiftly my Nella has guided me to drink the sweet wormwood of my torments with her copious tears. With her dedicated prayers and with sighs she drew me from the shore where one lingers, and has freed me from the other circles. So much more dear and more beloved to God is my little widow, whom I much loved, as much as she is alone in good works. Because the Barbagia of Sardinia is far more modest in its womenfolk than is the Barbagia where I left her. Sweet brother, what do you want me to say? Now within my sight is a future time, to which this hour will not seem that ancient, from when pulpits it will be forbidden to the insolent Florentine women to go flaunting their nipples with their breasts. What barbarous women, what Saracens ever were who, to make them go covered, needed spiritual or other constraints? But if the shameless hussies only knew what the swift heavens make ready for them, they would have by now bared their mouths to scream. For if my foreseeing here does not cheat me, they will mourn before hair grows on the cheeks of one now comforted by lullabies. Brother, now hide yourself no more from me. See, not I alone, but all these people are marveling there where you veil the sun. Therefore I to him, if you bring to mind what you were with me, what I was with you, present memories will still be heavy. I was turned from that life by this one here, who goes before me just the other day, when the sister of that one there showed round. And I pointed to the sun. He led me through the deepest night of the truly dead, with this genuine flesh that follows him. From that place his comforts have drawn me up, climbing and turning around the mountain that straightens you, whom the world had twisted. He speaks of making me his companion, till I am there where Beatrice will be. There I will need to remain without him. Virgil is this one who speaks thus to me. And I pointed. The other is that shade from whom your realm before shook every slope, and is now setting itself free of him.